Hey there, welcome to Toy Talk with Mike and Chad, episode 80. I'm Mike.
I'm Chad.
And the toys that we're going to talk about today are Chad's toys.
Yeah, finally got some.
Yeah, it's often mostly my toys.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've been waiting on this pile of loot for months.
Yeah, I was waiting to send it until that happened, and then the Canada Post strike. So I waited for that to finish, and then I needed money for my business. So,
Yeah.
I shipped it about 2 weeks ago, right at the deadline. It's like, ship today.
Yeah, because we buy a lot of our products from Big Bad Toy Store in the States, and they have an excellent function called Pile of Loot, where they'll charge you for your item, but they'll hold it for you for 90 days, and that gives you an opportunity to lump multiple purchases together, because back in the old days, every time a pre-order came through, you had to pay for the figure and then the shipping right away, and you were shipping single items all the time. So it's a really handy function. But yeah, you were right at the 90-day limit, and you had to send this stuff. So you got a big old haul.
Big old haul. I didn't bring all of it because a couple of them were duplicates. So I had a retro carded Cobra Commander that I already have. Right. I had the retro carded Cobra Infantry. And I didn't bring Guile because we already talked about him on the last episode, and you have him. So I did bring the rest of them.
So that Cobra Commander, is that the one that was a gift for a buddy, or is this just for you to keep
carded? That was for me to keep carded.
Okay. And the Infantry Trooper was just to expand your army?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, Guile from Street Fighter, Jada Toys. Yeah. I've been getting a few of them. They're really great. But okay, so that's all the stuff you didn't bring. You brought everything else?
Yep.
All right. The floor is yours, my friend.
Let's jump into it. So this one's kind of a one-off, so we might as well start with this one. So I have Hammerhead, Momaw Nadon. I think I got him when he was released, I guess, and he was waiting in my pile of loot. But happy birthday. That's yours. You'll appreciate it more than I will.
Well, you don't have to do that.
Nope, that's okay. You got screwed out of yours, so you'd appreciate it more.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I was just about to go on a rant about how I was a little jealous of you getting this thing.
Yeah.
But it was partly, like, I pre-ordered mine from GameStop.
Yeah.
And I even put a $5 deposit down. And I did it as soon as this came out. And then, like, months and months went by. And sometimes pre-orders do take months and months and months. Yeah. They can be close to a year sometimes. But then I was seeing, like, I haven't heard anything about this figure. And I checked online to see if anybody had reviewed it yet. And there was tons of reviews, and they were dated like 5 months ago. And I was like, what the? And I went to check my order, and it was still outstanding. And then I went, but on the website, it said all of their Momaw Nadons were sold out. Yeah. And so I called the GameStop, and I was like, I have this pre-order, and it still says it's wait. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to have to just refund you your $5. We oversold those, and we're out of them. And I was like, God damn it. And I think it is... was it sold out on Big Bad for a while? I might be on there again.
I'm not sure because I pre-ordered them as soon as it dropped. So I had one. I think it might still be in stock. I looked a couple months ago because I was like, well, if Mike doesn't get it by his birthday,
okay,
I will give it
to
him.
Thank you very much. I wasn't expecting this. I did know that you were kind of going to, because we haven't seen each other for a little while.
Yeah.
And you told me you were going to bring me my birthday present. I was expecting another gift card from GameStop or something. So yeah, this is excellent.
No, see, this is one of the only opportunities that I have to give you something that I know you don't have.
Yeah.
Because I will never buy toys for you because I can't keep track of what you have coming in and when. So
yeah, like this guy, it's Amazon he's sold out on.
Yeah.
I think he's still available on Hasbro's website, and I think he might still be on Big Bad. The only thing is, and you know because you paid for it, this thing is overpriced.
Yes.
He's basically a standard size figure. Sure, his head's a little bit bigger, but so what? We pay the same price. They charge us, like, these figures standard are about $35 plus tax. And whether it's Luke Skywalker or R2-D2, they still charge you $30, and R2-D2 is really small. So the fact that they do that, I feel they could charge you the same price for him. But no, this was $50.
Yeah.
And he only comes with a little pistol and 3 drinking cups. Like, it's
I
really...
I don't want drinking cups. I want guns. I want
Yeah, give me guns or give me another little creature
Yeah.
to populate the bar. Yeah, Casey, my dog, is in the room here. She's scratching at the door to get out. I thought she was going to hang out with us, but yeah, I guess we'll have to let her go. Bye, Casey.
Bye. You're fired.
She didn't even make an appearance on screen. Anyway, funnily enough, so the thing is, I was debating on like, should I order this from Big Bad? Because I did want it. Every year when we do our year-end wrap-ups, I complain about like what figure. Well, I state what figures would I like to see in the coming, and I always say with Star Wars, this toy line has gotten so boring that I hardly buy any of the figures anymore. I want to see more original trilogy aliens. Give me Hammerhead, give me Squidhead, give me Reese, give me, all those guys, Yak Face. And they just aren't making them, and I don't understand why. So they finally made one of the ones I wanted. But I was kind of getting out of the line. I haven't bought anything for like basically 2 years. I've hardly bought anything. So I was debating, like, I wanted this guy, but he's $50 American, so he's more like $65 Canadian. I was considering still buying him if there was another thing I needed to buy on Hasbro's website, because Hasbro has free shipping if you're over like $100 or something. So I wasn't going to order him from Hasbro alone because he's already overpriced, but if I could at least lump him with something else and get free shipping. So that's kind of where he's been on my tentative to buy list. I knew you had one in your pile of loot. I was jealous that you were going to have him before I did. Although, another funny thing before I let you carry on. Just last episode we shot together, I told you how space was getting tight. Mm-hmm. And I said, I might have to start boxing up my Star Wars collection. I boxed it up 2 days ago. Now, not completely. I used to have a bookshelf over here, and I'll put in an insert. I had a bookshelf with 4 or 5 shelves of Star Wars. I managed to condense it down to 2. So here's the part of my collection that you guys are probably most familiar with because it's always in the background of my videos. But around here, there's a little nook. And this is where my Star Wars figures are currently on display. So I have this large bookshelf. The bottom 2 shelves are not really being utilized properly right now. I've got some storage on the bottom. I just kind of threw some South Park stuff there, but you can see there's lots of space. And then I begin with the Star Wars Black Series, and they are jam-packed on here pretty tightly. So this shelf, it's primarily Stormtroopers. We've got all the holiday colored Stormtroopers in the back. And then we've got some other kind of random miscellaneous characters here as well. And then if we go up a shelf, this is my all Stormtrooper shelf. So lots of different varieties of Stormtrooper here. I really probably overdid it for a while collecting all these different Stormtroopers. And then we go up here again. This is another kind of random display of characters. I think it started out, it was supposed to be primarily like my heroic characters maybe over here, and then some of the Empire clumped together over here, some of my Sith. And then on the top shelf, this was more supposed to represent Jabba's palace. So I've got Jabba elevated there above all the other figures. They haven't really made a whole lot of the original trilogy aliens for me to populate the palace here. There's Walrus Man from the Cantina, Gamorrean guards. But yeah, just a variety of characters. And then up top, I've got some of my larger creatures, such as a Dewback and a Rancor, Speeder Bike, and an ATST. Now, the ATST and the Rancor are not from the Star Wars Black Series. Those are from the 3 3/4 inch line. But anyway, I just like those figures, so that's why they've been on display. But anyway, I'm going to box a lot of these guys up. I'm hoping to reduce my Star Wars collection down to one shelf, which will be just my favorite characters. So the majority of these guys are going into storage, at least for a while. So I just wanted to showcase this collection before it gets boxed up. So there you go. And here is the new setup. So not much has changed up top. Got a lot of the same figures here on this shelf. This shelf here, it's kind of a mix mash of, we got the Stormtroopers, we've got some Empire, we've got some good guys. But that's it. That's the entire Star Wars collection. And then from down here, I've got a shelf of DC characters. And some more DC down here. And over here on my Godzilla shelf, I previously had DC characters kind of mixed in here, kind of stuffed between all the Godzillas. But now they've got a little bit more room for themselves. So multiple shelves for Kaiju, and then my South Park guys down on the bottom. And I was able to move my DC figures, which have been crammed over here with some of my Godzillas. Now DC has 2 or 3 full shelves for DC, so I've got a little bit of room to grow for DC. And now my Godzilla shelf has a little more room to breathe here. Because just in my last episode, I reviewed a couple of Kaiju figures from Titanic Creations, which was Paul Gassari and Yongari, and I didn't know where I was going to put them because they're kind of big and they have a lot of accessories. So by clearing my DC guys off of these shelves, you can't really see it. You might be able to see it on camera a little bit, but I've got those guys here now with all their little accessories. So that gave me a little bit of breathing room. That probably gives me a couple more months. But now I'm going to have to, because my Star Wars shelves are packed tight. Because I hate boxing figures up. You know, you bought these things, you want to display them. Once they go in storage, they get forgotten and they get broken. Like just for my DC shelves there, I just pulled out some of the DC guys that were in storage for a while, and I had broken arms and all kinds of stuff. It sucks. So my Star Wars shelves are packed really tight because I was like, I want to keep as many of them on display as I can with only keeping those 2 shelves. But now I'm probably going to take 2 more guys off and put them in storage to make room for old Hammerhead up there.
Yeah, you could take a Stormtrooper out. I feel like it would.
Yeah, well, see, I'm down to about, 7 Stormtroopers, but I had about 60 Stormtroopers. Yeah. So, yeah, they took a hit. Anyway, thank you very much for this, my friend.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it. That's a very cool gift. All
right. Up next was a Big Bad Toy Store 25th Anniversary t-shirt.
Okay. What's that look like? Let's just say 25 years? Or?
Yep. Let's open it up.
All right.
So, Big Bad Toy Store, 25 years on the front. On the back, it's got a bunch of stuff like Pile of Loot and some cool designs. 1999 Big Bad Toy Store Incorporated. Scale. It's got a bunch of stuff from their website, basically. Okay. So, yeah, pretty cool. I was like, you know what? Why not? I think this was $15, so.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, I've been shopping from them for 20 years.
Yeah.
It, like I said, it's a great website. It seems to be run. It's a family-run business. They seem like good people. Sometimes I wonder. I contemplate. Should I reach out to them and see if they want to? Because we talk about them all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe I should ask if they want to do a little sponsorship and send me a little store credit. Because years ago, I think I've told you this before, but when I used to just do my toy blog, I reached out to Big Bad, and even though they didn't even ask me my numbers or anything, like they're like, yeah, you got a toy blog, we'll give you $50 store credit every month for a 6-month trial or whatever. And then I got one of their clickable links on my kind of a banner down the side of my website. And after 6 months, they decided not to renew. They obviously weren't getting enough click-throughs, which doesn't surprise me because my blog never got a ton of traffic. But still, that was very cool that they just took a flyer on me and they gave me all that store credit. Yeah, so a very good store. Sometimes I feel like a bad customer now, though, because I tend to cancel quite a lot of pre-orders. I never used to do that.
Struggle is real, though.
Yeah, especially like when there's this whole tariff thing is happening right now. Like, we're in Canada. The U.S. was threatening us with tariffs. So up until like 4 or 5 days ago, we thought we were going to have to pay an extra 25% on everything that crossed the border. Now, they worked out some sort of deal, but at this point in time, they only said they're delaying it for 30 days. So we still don't know what's going to happen. So, yeah, I don't want to pay an extra 25% because I already get dinged for custom fees and then the shipping and, the conversion. It is expensive. Like, Big Bad's prices aren't bad, but, like, Amazon, if I can get it on Amazon, it's got free shipping. Plus, they're already over the border, so we don't have to pay customs. If I can buy them at GameStop, there's no shipping. Plus, I get a discount because I'm like a loyalty member there or something.
Unless they have that stupid ship to home option. It's like, that's really annoying.
Yeah, GameStop can be a little annoying because some toys you try and pre-order, they say only available to ship to home. And they do have free shipping over $75, but if it's just one figure, then you're forced to put extra things in your cart because I hate throwing away $15 on shipping that I don't need to. Anyway, so even though Big Bad has good normal prices, they're totally competitive. For us here in Canada, it makes more sense for me to either get it at GameStop or Amazon, and Big Bad should be my third choice. Unfortunately, Big Bad is the best at putting items up right away. Like if a company announces we've got a new wave of Marvel Legends, GameStop has, Big Bad has it up immediately, and you can pre-order it and secures you your figure. Whereas GameStop, it might take a day or two, and they put it up at a random time of the day.
I hate their website, and funny enough, when I went into GameStop last week to pick up my Superman 78 that I didn't end up getting, I was ripping into them about the website. I'm like, your website sucks. It needs to be changed. What's with this stupid ship to home option? How come I can't get it to the store? What difference does it make?
Yeah, and I think it was just yesterday. So there was a new Marvel Legends wave announced a little while ago, which was Rom, the Space Knight, along with Banshee from the X-Men and Ultimate Iron Man, a couple other figures. Anyway, I didn't want the whole wave, but I definitely wanted 4 or 5 of the figures. And so I think they were announced they were going to go on sale at like 1 p.m. on yesterday. And sure enough, 1 p.m., Big Bad has it on their website, ready to go. And I'm like, again, I don't want to pre-order. I could pre-order all the ones I want right now and guarantee them. But then if GameStop puts them up in an hour, I'm going to end up canceling. And I hate constantly canceling stuff from Big Bad. So I was like, I'm going to bide my time. And then I was checking GameStop literally every hour. And it gets really annoying to have to do that. And then I just checked one time and they were all up. And 5 of the 6 figures were sold out already. So I was like, God damn it. So I went back to Big Bad and I pre-ordered the one I wanted most, Rom. The other ones, like Banshee, I'm going to wait. I figure maybe I won't get it the day it comes out, but maybe I'll get it eventually. I don't think Banshee's a particularly hot character. Even characters like Cable and stuff last year that were hot, and I scrambled to get them. They did kind of become more available later. So I'm going to bide my time and not freak out. But I needed to get that Rom figure because, yeah, that's super cool. But yeah, GameStop's website, very frustrating, even though they're the cheapest option for us to buy from. Anyway, rant aside, go back to your stuff.
All right. So I have the t-shirt. Let's get into some Street Fighter stuff.
Yep, more Jada Toys.
So Cammy, you have, and we will talk about in the next video.
Do you want to talk about it in the next video, or we could talk about her now? So yeah, you pre-ordered yours, and then she was not available on Big Bad. Because this is my favorite Street Fighter character, and I don't know why. I guess I'm probably just a shallow pig. She's a hot chick or whatever. So she was the character I always used when I played Street Fighter back in the day. So I wanted this figure more than any, but she was really hard to track down because they were sold out on Big Bad. She wasn't available for pre-order on GameStop's website, even though every other Street Fighter figure was. And I was scrambling to get her, and I ended up having her on pre-order from 3 places. I eventually got her at Big Bad because they put her back up for pre-order. The guy at GameStop said, even though she's not on our website, I will pre-order you one. Like he has like a secret SKU or something. And I was like, all right, I'm trusting you because normally I can see that I pre-ordered something. And then the guy, Daryl, that owns Giant Robot Comics, also told me he was going to get me one, and he told me that on Boxing Day. He's like, I'll probably have some like next week. But he hasn't gotten any sense, and I haven't heard anything like from GameStop. So then my Big Bad one showed up. She was in my pile of loot, and then like the next day, GameStop said we've got one. So I opted to buy her from GameStop because that's the cheapest option. I canceled it from Big Bad, and they gave me store credit, but I immediately used that store credit to buy some more reaction figure stands.
Yeah.
So I will, they'll still get my money. But anyway, I've got her. What do you think of her? You haven't had a chance to really...
I haven't had I put her away. I haven't had a chance to really look at her because I've been busy, but I can't say enough about these figures. Like, this company, I love this company. I plug the company to anybody that I talk toys with. It's so well made.
They're really nice. And somebody commented on our last Street Fighter video and said they make great toys. I know you buy their Mega Man toys, but I said, well, I can't really speak to any of their other toys because I only have bought their Street Fighter figures. But I realized afterwards that I actually bought some of their Universal Monster figures. She just knocked her pigtail off.
That plugs. Okay.
Yeah, you scared me for a sec.
Yeah, I would have just said, here's your new Cammy.
But yeah, I forgot that I bought, because they did a whole line of Universal Monsters, and I bought Wolfman and Invisible Man. I think that might be it. But they're really cool too. I liked those figures.
Like, the joints are all so nice and tight, and the articulation is great. Everything just makes sense. It's compact. The face sculpts look amazing. The likeness to the characters, everything.
So here's my, maybe it's because my anticipation was high for this line. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not a huge video gamer, and I'm not even like a huge Street Fighter guy. But I have this toy that's probably close to 20 years old now. Yeah. I have this Cammy figure. She's been on display in my collection for a long time. Mm-hmm. And again, I only had her and Blanca because those were like my favorite characters. And so I was highly anticipating getting this Cammy. I'm highly anticipating Blanca too. He's coming this year, I think. But anyway, when I got her, I'll be honest, these figures are so good. I think she's probably the weakest one yet. I think it's mostly her face.
Yeah.
She's got these puckered lips that almost look like, she kind of looks like a sex doll or something. Like,
do not fucking insert anything in me doing that.
Yeah, just dicks everywhere.
Yeah.
But you see what I mean? Like, she looks like a blow-up doll with her puckered lips, and maybe it's because she shows so much skin.
Yeah.
Like, I'll do an insert, but like this figure here, it hardly has any articulation. But at least the benefit of that is it doesn't have these sculpted lines, like, so she looks smooth and nice. Where putting joints through skin looks really awkward, so she's got like joints basically on her butt cheeks, and it looks a little weird. If she had shorts on and the line was coincide with her shorts, it wouldn't be so weird. Like, I'm sure on that other guy it won't look so bad. But when there's a joint on the bare skin, it looks a little weird. And she has an alternate head, which I have somewhere. I'll do the insert again. The alternate head has her mouth open, like she's angry. I don't know if you can see it in yours there. But I find the lips come almost right up to under her nose. And
oh, yeah, that's weird.
It's weird looking, too. Like, so neither head is great. Like, they're not bad. But considering how good this toy line has been and that this is my most anticipated character, I'm a little disappointed that both heads leave me a little bit underwhelmed. But otherwise, pretty cool figure. But I thought, because some people had her in hand, I think, last year in the States. I was hoping she was going to show up before the end of the year because I thought for sure she was going to make my best of the year list. Since I never got her, Dalsum made my list. But I think if I got her last year, Dalsum, to my surprise, would have bumped her anyway. Yeah. Dalsum is a better figure. But anyway, it's cool that we got Cammy. So who else you got?
Next is DJ, right out of Jamaica. So DJ was like that would have sounded stupid. I was going to say he's like a Street Fighter, but he wasn't one of my favorite characters. But
I don't even really know him.
The face sculpts on him just look super cool. I'm not a fan of the angry faces. That
was a weird one.
Yeah, sorry.
That was like a burp cough. I might have to edit this whole segment out here. Okay, yeah, he looks cool, and maybe I'll get him in time because I've said this before. I started out only wanting to get my favorites, but now it's already started to expand because I bought M. Bison and I bought
so
Ken.
Good.
That I'm thinking of going to pick up Fei Long because I know they have a whole peg of him at our Walmart.
Yeah.
And Fei Long definitely wasn't on my radar because he wasn't a character I don't think I ever used him. And same as DJ. I never used him, so I don't have any attachment to him. But it is a nice looking figure. I like that he's got some bulk to him.
Yep.
His design's different. Like, he doesn't look like any of the other guys. All these characters are very unique. He's got a little metal necklace, like Guile had the metal dog tags. So yeah, his is like supposed to be a gold chain.
Yep. And like the braids on his hair are cool. How they
kind
of hang over his shoulder there in front of his chest.
Yeah, I could see myself getting him in time.
So I was super happy to get him. Last week when I was into GameStop, I also got Blanca and...
Oh, pre-order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other guy pre-ordered.
Sagat.
Sagat.
If you say Saget, it sounds like Bob Saget.
Bob Saget, I know.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
All right, let's get into some Masters of the Universe.
All right.
Cartoon Collection.
Now, I have a few of these guys already myself. I haven't done a video on them yet.
That's why I didn't bring the others. You did Ram. Yeah, I have the whole Ram Man.
Okay, so yeah, I haven't done these guys yet. I'm going to do a whole Master of the Universe.
Do you want me to wait?
You don't have to. You can talk about your... Because I don't know if I'm ever going to buy these guys.
Okay.
So, but like, I got Mantenna, and I got She-Ra, and I got Ram Man. So I will do an episode specific to them where I do some close-ups and do some comparisons to previous figures. The reason I'm waiting on that is because I also got Modulok. So he's not part of the Cartoon Collection, but he was exclusive to Amazon, maybe? I don't know. So I got him, and I have Rio Blast on the way. He's the cowboy guy, and he was a Mattel Creations exclusive. So once I have Rio Blast in hand, I will do a video for those 5 guys. But I'm not planning on getting these 3. So yeah, why don't you go ahead and...
All right, so the first one we have is Tri-Klops.
Very cool.
Looks pretty cool. I mean, he's a squatty figure.
Did you have him as a kid?
I did have him as a kid. The next one is Manny Faces. I did not have him as a kid.
Tri-Klops. Okay, and he's got many faces.
He does have many faces.
So yeah, Tri-Klops, he's got 3 eyes, so you can turn his head to get like
a
subtle eye or an angry eye or like a laser eye. And Manny Faces, you turn his head, and he's got a monster face, a robot face, or a human
face. And then, of course, everybody's favorite ruler of the evil horde, Hordak. I did have Hordak as a kid. I think he was actually one of the first Masters of the Universe figures I ever got. But these are cute. I didn't come into the Origins line because I wasn't really collecting He-Man at the time, and then I saw these and got me right in the nostalgic feels.
Have you opened up all your other ones? So you're going to open these guys up pretty soon. And seeing them, like, I want them. They all look good. But the thing about this is, like, so I collect Origins.
Yeah.
Which are the same style of figure, but they're based on the vintage figure. So they have the more figure aesthetic. And then now they're doing these Cartoon Collection ones, which are compatible, but they're done in the kind of simpler, cleaner designs, cartoon aesthetic. So in my Origins line, I already have Tri-Klops, Manny Faces, and Hordak. But the thing is, in this line here, the Masters of the Universe Classics, which I went really deep on, I already have animated style, like Filmation versions of these 3 guys. And I don't, even though I want them in the Origins scale, I don't necessarily need them a second time in the Filmation. So I'm kind of thinking that my Filmation versions in the Classics line should appease me. I shouldn't need to get these ones, but they are cool.
Don't let me influence you at all.
Yeah, because with the other line, the ones that I did buy, Mantenna, I have him in a Filmation for the Classics as well. But he's like my second favorite Masters of the Universe character, so he kind of got lucky. And then with She-Ra, I do have a Filmation version of her too, but she wasn't as well done.
She looks really tiny.
Well, the main thing with her was her face was kind of weird. And this new one from the Cartoon Collection that I did buy is a marked improvement. Looking at these guys here, I don't think they're necessarily any better than the Classics ones I already have, whereas the She-Ra one clearly was, so I bought her. And then with Ram Man, I bought him because I did not have a Filmation version of him in the classic style. So he was a whole new thing. These guys here, they're all kind of repeats for me. Mm-hmm. But I like them.
Yeah, I'm psyched to have Hordak.
Yeah, one of your faves?
He was one of my faves. Right up with Skeletor.
Yeah. Now of these three, he could probably be the one I'm most tempted by, because the one I have, and I'll do a little insert because I have the Filmation version of him, but his ankles are so loose, like they just flop like this, so he can't stand up on his own. So in my display over here, I have him riding one of the sky sleds, because that's the only way I can keep him on the shelf without him just like falling over. So there is some appeal to having a Hordak that can stand on his own weight, but yeah, these are all cool. And what's he got there? Is it like a little?
He holds it. I know it's like a.
It looks like some weird dice.
Yeah.
Like one of the things that's cool about these figures is they often come with weird little artifacts,
episode specific things.
Yeah, because every episode of the cartoon was like, oh, we need this MacGuffin to defeat He-Man. So like, Trapjaw looks like he comes with some weird laser thing, MacGuffin. No, it doesn't look like any accessories for Man-E-Faces.
Maybe it's because of his head.
Yeah, but he should at least come with his pistol. He always comes with a gun, so that's kind of weak. He probably never had a gun in the cartoon, so right. Fair enough. And then yeah, Hordak comes with it's called a time stop device. Yeah, and his weapon is called the Rock Softener, according to the back of the packaging.
I don't like how he's holding that rock softener.
Yeah, and he's zapping He-Man with it in the artwork on the back. I don't know, is he just softening him? I don't know what that means. But anyway, yeah, these guys are cool. Again, I'm a little jealous of those guys, but I'll be okay.
All right. Gotta make some space here. Now we're going to switch over to DC.
Okay.
So this one is the Dawn of DC Red Hood. I always say that my McFarlane days are over, and then they always seem to put out like one or two more that I like. Red Hood is one of my favorite DC characters, so naturally I had to buy him.
I'm not familiar with his look.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like it all that much, to be honest with you.
It's weird. The mask reminds me of Scorpion or Sub-Zero or Reptile.
Yeah, he definitely looks like one of those guys. Yeah, like, so Red Hood, he's one of the Robins, but like he usually wears like an all red mask. Now he's got the kind of Scorpion mask and a hoodie on. Mm-hmm. And I know like superheroes have weird costumes, but it looks like he's almost got a non-costume. Like,
yeah.
But then you look at that jacket, like, so it's like a vest, like a leather vest jacket with a hood on it. Like that's a weird jacket. But yeah, it's a unique look anyway.
Yeah, not much to say about it otherwise. Does
he still wear that now, or has he moved on?
I think he's moved on. I actually haven't read the current run of Red Hood, but
it looks cool on the back of the package where you can't see his
face.
Can't see the face. Yeah, because I don't. Yeah, I don't love the Scorpion mask with the. I don't know if it's eye makeup or he's wearing a Robin like domino mask.
No, I think it's eye makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
mean, it is what it is. That's another Red Hood.
Yeah, it's not bad. Like it looks like a well-made figure. My biggest problem with a lot of McFarlane stuff is I find they're weirdly proportioned, like their legs are too long or something. But yeah, he looks like he's very well proportioned. He's very well, like, he looks like a good toy, even if it's not my favorite design. Oh wow!
All right, so the next three are from DC Direct. And they are the new Batman Adventures figures. So this
I'll be your Vanna here.
Thank you. This one is Batman wearing the anti-fire suit. And the reason I like these ones is because they come with animation cells specific to the episode, and they have a little description on the back, and they tell you some information about like the figure, the episode. It's kind of cool.
I'll be honest, I didn't watch a whole lot of this show. It looked cool, but it came out around the time when I was just like, I don't know, a little too old for cartoons.
Well, you're 5 years older than I am, so
yeah.
Geez, the animated series ran from 92 to 95, I think, and then this one came in, so you would have been definitely like 18, 19 probably when this came out.
Yeah, not that, like 92, 95. I was still in junior high, I think.
No, but like 90.
Yeah.
Because this came out after the animated series.
But I can appreciate, and when I'd see it, sometimes my little brother watched it, like the Batman animated series, like the X-Men cartoon, they looked cool, and I was still into comic books. I never stopped reading comic books, but I couldn't really get into cartoons in the 90s. So I'm sure this was a great series, but I just never watched it. So I've never seen this anti-fire suit before. Mm-hmm. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, he's solid figure.
So did he wear this to fight Firefly, who you're holding over there?
I cannot tell you that.
Because who else does he have any like main fire-based villains?
No, I think it's just pretty much Firefly.
Firefly? Yeah, so this must have been to fight Firefly, I'm guessing.
This next one is so stupid. I hate this character so much, but I had to buy it because I can't not have the whole collection of it. But it is Creeper. I think he just looks stupid.
He's a weird character. A Steve Ditko creation, I believe.
Yeah.
So how many of these do you have already?
The first wave was 4, I believe. So this would be
7.
7.
Yep.
And then I had to cancel the other ones. I'll reorder them when I get back on my feet. But it was Scarecrow.
Let me see Creeper.
A couple others.
Yeah, I never really cared for Creeper either. I don't know if I've really read a comic book with him in it. He might have shown up in like, because I always read the DC events, or at least I used to. So things like all the crises. So he's probably showed up in a few panels here and there on different crisis books I read. But yeah, I've never read an actual Creeper-based story. So maybe I'd like him if I did, but yeah.
Looks like
just a yellow guy in his tighty whities with a big feather boa or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a weirdo. He's a creep.
The final one is Firefly, and I am excited for this one because I don't have a Firefly in my collection.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of reminds me of like a huge bug.
I think that's what they're known for.
I know, but
and that's not like he looks pretty different in the comic books. I think.
Yeah.
Like he's a character that's had lots of different looks over the years, is my understanding. I'm not super familiar with Firefly, but yeah,
he's pretty cool.
If I'm being honest, he's kind of drab.
He is super drab. It's just like a gray suit.
Like you think they can put like some flames on him or something?
Firefly.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's definitely lacking in the color department.
Yeah. How much do these guys go for? Are these on par with the regular?
These are about 30
to 40.
No, $30, I think.
Okay.
$29.99.
Okay.
I believe, although I did see that he raised his prices again.
Yeah.
Because the base ones now come in at $36.99.
These guys come with display bases?
I think so, yes. Okay. Yeah. Except they're the ones that I don't like. They're the flat white ones with the peg that sticks up and you hook around their body.
Okay, that's kind of what I'm saying. I can kind of see it in the front of the package where it's hard to make it out. But yeah, I'm just noticing Creeper's legs are so skinny. He would never be able to stand up on his own,
This is the biggest complaint I have about this line is the feet. The feet are so small. Like the back row one I have, almost impossible to get her to stand up. And then
that's the aesthetic of the show, right?
Yeah. And then getting like the clamp around the waist, it doesn't fit snug because the waist is so small. And then you just have this thing holding her in, so she kind of like slips.
I found the same. For years, I used to buy like Nightmare Before Christmas figures. And Jack is like this tall. And he's got these little teeny feet. And even like the mayor, he's this big round bulbous guy, but then he comes teeny little feet. Yeah. And like it's so hard to get those figures to stand up because of Tim Burton's design aesthetic. So I think the characters look great. But yeah, they really need a base like that. That's something that clips onto their waist, because just having little pegs in their feet aren't enough, because Jack's just too tall. He would fall over anyway.
Either that or just give us normal display bases with pegs in it, like he does with the other McFarlane figures. Yep. But I know part of the relaunch, because this is a relaunched series. These figures originally came out in the late 90s, I think, with the same style bases, because I have some from the previous line that did this, and same base and everything.
Okay, so you've got one item left.
One item left. That's non-DC. So
right. So I've got a couple of things here. I'm going to jump in because I've got some DC McFarlane figures I want to talk about, and I don't buy very many of them. I buy even less than you do. I'm more into the superpowers figures. But anyway, I love the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. I know they're corny in a lot of ways now, and if those had come out when I was 20, I might have rolled my eyes at them, but I was a little kid when I saw them, loved them, and they haven't made very many Christopher Reeve Superman figures. There's maybe been, I don't know, 2 or 3 over the last 40 years, but I think a lot of them have been premium, like 12-inch dolls with cloth outfits and stuff, and that's not really my preferred. I would have loved to have an action figure of it. So finally, McFarlane said he was doing one. We both pre-ordered, and so GameStop called me like last week, and they said, we got your Christopher Reeve Superman in, and I was like, nice. And they're like, however, we had 4 people pre-order it. We got 4 in, except one of them is the Platinum Chase figure. Now, some people might love this, that McFarlane does it, but a lot of people, I don't like, because you don't know who you're going to get, because you got screwed with that artist edition once where they give you like an all gray figure.
Yeah, right? It was Hush. Yeah, all gray Hush. So I had another one.
So you get this figure that you want that's all in color, and they send you one that's all matte gray, and they're like, you got the special limited edition.
And it looks ugly as sin.
Yeah, and even when I pre-ordered my Ragman from GameStop, they called me and said, your Ragman is in. And Ragman is a guy that's covered in like patchwork green, and he's got a green cape. I went in, and they had one aside for me that was like literally all black with a black cape. And so he's just like, and I'm like, well, I don't want this all black one. They're like, this is the rare one. This is the Chase. We thought we were doing you a solid.
Ugly.
And I'm like, no, I want the regular one. That's what I pre-ordered. So anyway, with Superman, they said, we got 4, 3 regular, 1 Chase. Do you want the Chase? And I was like, what's the Chase? And they're like, he's kind of like darker and dirty looking, and he's got like 5 o'clock shadow. And I was like, what? Like, I didn't know that's what they were doing. I'm like, they made Evil Superman from Superman 3. I'm like, that's so cool. And I'm like, so they're all spoken for? There's no way I could get both. And they're like, nah, we have 4. We're just calling each person and kind of seeing which one they want. I'm like, damn it. And I'm like, well, and while they're talking to me, I'm checking Big Bad to see if they have it in stock, but their Superman was all sold out.
Yeah.
He's not on Amazon. So I'm like, I didn't want to risk getting the evil Superman and then never being able to find the good one that I've been waiting my whole life to basically get. But I did know that by committing to get the good one, if I want to get the bad one later, he's going to be much harder to get because he is the Chase. You can't just straight up order him. You'd probably have to go to eBay or something like that. And so I'm like, I didn't know what to do. And I said, I'll get the good one, but if anybody declines the bad one, please let me know, because I'll take them. And they're like, okay. So I went in, and I got Superman. So here he is, Christopher Reeve Superman. I think he looks awesome. Like, the likeness is quite good.
Yeah.
The outfit looks great. He's got a cloth cape with that yellow emblem on the back. It's wired, so you can pose the cape.
This is such a nice figure.
He's got a whole bunch of extra hands that I don't need. He's got an extra head. And then he came with a trading card. Normally I throw all the trading cards in the garbage. But I don't know. There's something about seeing Christopher Reeve stand in front of that American flag or something. I'm like, I think I have to keep this card. It's pretty cool. So anyway, I love this figure. I was very pleased with it.
So to pick up where you left off on your story.
Well, one more thing.
Okay.
I was surprised, though, because after I hummed and hawed about like not being able to get the evil Superman, when I went home and opened him up, the alternate head he comes with is the evil Superman head. Like he looks a little angry, and it even looks like he has a little like white at the temples, which for whatever reason when Superman went bad, his hair went a little gray. So I'm like, oh, so even if you get the good Superman, I could choose to put the evil head on him. And so that's kind of cool that I kind of have both. But let's be honest, like when we get these alternate heads, once we decide which head is going to go on the figure, the other one goes in a box. And it's not like I'd change out my heads just for fun. I would probably never see that evil head again. So I was like, it's cool that I had it, but it still didn't really help me much. I would almost have to buy a second one of this exact figure if it came to that and put the evil head on. So I was kind of like, oh, well, at least I got this guy, and I was very happy with him. So go ahead.
So to pick up where you left off, I go in because I also pre-ordered, and I was excited. One of our friends gave me a gift card for my birthday. Thank you, Miguel.
Shout out Miguel.
And I was like, oh, I'm going to save it for this Superman because he's the only thing I have pre-ordered at GameStop. So I go in. Justin, our buddy, was like, yeah, I got it. He's the ugly one. I was like, what? And he was like, oh, he's the 5 o'clock shadow one. I was like, what? So I looked at it and I was like, oh, this figure's fucking ugly. And I was like, no, do you know if you're getting any of the regular ones in? And he was like, let me check. And then he said, yes, there should be one coming next week. So I said, perfect. I'll take that one, hold this one for the time being, and I'll get the other one. So the other one comes in, he calls me, nope, still Dark Superman. I was like, ugh. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just hang on, see if you get one in.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, we might get some in. I was like, all right. He called me yesterday. He's like, finally got you a good one. I said, amazing. So I haven't picked it up yet. I used the gift card to pick up one of the Joes that I got screwed over on.
The Saw Viper?
It's the Saw Viper.
Yeah, so we'll talk about those. We got 4 new Joes. Saw Viper, Leatherneck, Xandar, and Dial Tone.
Well, you got 4 new Joes.
I have 4. You have 1. But yeah, so we'll talk about those. Maybe by the time you get your other 3, we'll do an episode about them. But anyway, that's a cool figure too. So it's good that you got that. But anyway, so yeah, you texted me after you left GameStop, and you're like, you know what sucks? I went into GameStop for my Superman, but all they had was the dirty, ugly one, so I told them to put it back on the shelf. And I was like, you what?
you fucking called right away.
And yeah, you were still texting me, but I was already on the phone. I was like calling them because like, you know, I didn't know if they would remember to put it aside for me if it wasn't the same person that was there. And sure enough, I called, and like we're very friendly with the store manager, Justin. He knows us. He pre-orders stuff for us without even asking us sometimes. Everything, he knows what we want. He's a good guy. But anyway, it's frustrating. Nothing against any of the other staff, but when you do know somebody there so well and you have to deal with somebody that you don't, it's just kind of like, can I just please talk to Justin? So anyway, I called the store, and some little girl answers the phone. She's like, hello. And I'm like, hi, my friend was just in there, and he declined his Superman pre-order, and I was hoping I could get it set aside. Do you know what I'm talking about? And she's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, shit, because I was hoping you had dealt with her.
No, Justin.
And I was like, well, there's a Superman there. And she's like, what's it called? And it's like, they must have 100 different Supermans. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, God, trying to explain to this, like, 20-year-old girl. I'm like, he's just called Superman, but he's based on the movies. She probably doesn't even know who Christopher Reeve is. And I'm like, but it's like an evil Superman. And my buddy was just there. And she's like, And she's typing in the computer looking for Superman. And I'm like, ugh. I'm like, is Justin there? I could probably just talk to Justin.
Just went on break.
I'm like, Justin would know what I was talking about. She's like, he's on break. And I'm like, Anyway, so then she fiddled around. She put me on hold. She probably went and asked Justin. And then she came back. She's like, I've got it. I can hold it for you till the end of the day. And I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. So I went in that day, and I got him. So now I have my evil Superman along with my good Superman, so you can see the stark difference in the colors. This guy, he has the same evil face, and he also has this same kind of friendlier face. But what's interesting, the version of the friendly face that comes with this guy, he has his eyes reded out like he's going to shoot eye lasers, so it kind of makes it a little more menacing. But anyway, so this Superman, he's got really dark blue. It's almost purplish. Mm-hmm. And then you can see there's like black wash. Yeah. So it looks like stains or whatever on his. And then he's got the 5 o'clock shadow. He's got this scowl on him. His cape is this grubby. It almost looks black, but it's really like kind of a dark red. It's really supposed to be kind of just like a dirty red. He's got the 5 o'clock shadow. I couldn't believe you passing this, to be honest with you. I love it.
Now, well, I mean, it's not a terrible figure, but again, we already discussed this. When I pre-order a figure that McFarlane does, I pre-order the specific one. If I wanted one of these stupid chases, I would have went and ordered the chase. And I find he's so bad for shipping these chases out. And it's like, in the DC community, there's so many people that hate it.
Yeah.
Because you never know. And it's like exactly what happened with Hush when they sent me the all gray one. I sent it back to them. They sent me another gray one. And I was like, no, I just want a color Hush. Like
but regular Hush. Do you remember this scene?
I do.
Like, it left such an impression on me when I was a kid. And it's funny because I talked to my brother Doug, because I posted both these Supermans on my Instagram. And he was like, I'm sure we saw it, like, we watched Superman 3 together when we were kids. He's like, I don't even remember that scene. He's like, I'm surprised to hear that you wrote it, because I wrote on Instagram how pivotal it was for me. And I'm like, really? That doesn't stand out for me? Because Superman 3 is largely not regarded as a great movie. It's got Richard Pryor in it, and the movie largely focuses on him, so it becomes a lot more comedic. And it's, Lex Luthor isn't in it. They replaced Gene Hackman. They've got some other rich megalomaniac, but he's a pretty lame character. But there's a couple scenes in there that are super memorable. For one, at the end, when they build this evil supercomputer and it transforms the billionaire's sister into a robot woman or something, that scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler, yeah, for a movie from like 1983, I think. But yeah, it terrified me. It was a scary scene. But also the scene where, so Superman turns evil because he gets exposed to kryptonite. And he becomes not really evil so much as just kind of a dick. Like, it's not like he's robbing banks or anything. He's just not saving puppies from trees and stuff. He goes to a bar at one point and he's doing shots and he's flicking peanuts and he's bursting the liquor bottles behind the counter, and the bartender's like, come on, Superman. And Superman's like, whatever. And he's being a dick.
It's funny how Spider-Man 3 always reminded me of the similar turn. He turns into a weirdo and just starts dancing in the street. We're not going to talk about that, but
he does not dance. But yeah, but all that aside, and the thing is, Doug doesn't remember this fight scene, my brother. But when I was telling him, like, you don't remember that? And he's like, no. I'm like, don't you remember? One of the things he does when he's evil is he flies to the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Yeah.
And there's a little guy in the foreground. It's probably like just a matte painting of like Pisa or something behind. And he's like selling these little ceramic towers, and he's selling the tours. He's like, oh, a little tower. And then Superman comes and he straightens the tower up, and the guy's like, looks at all his sculptures, and he's like, oh, mamma mia, and he smashes them. He's like, oh. And I'm like, that's such a weird thing to do, to show that he's mean now. He's straightening out the tower. And then when Superman eventually becomes good again, he goes and tips the tower back over, and it shows the guy again. He's made all these straight towers, and he sees it gets leaned again. He's like, oh, and he smashes it again. Anyway, it's stupid.
Yeah.
But when he becomes good again, he's having this internal struggle, and he's like, and he's wrestling. And then he lands in like a scrapyard, and he separates into Clark Kent and evil Superman. And they fight each other. And it was a scary scene when I was a kid, because evil Superman is putting Clark Kent in like a car crusher, and he puts him in like a grinder, and you see these teeth, and you're like, oh shit, he's putting Clark Kent through the ringer here. And anyway, spoiler alert again. After a brutal fight, and he beats the hell out of Clark eventually kind of like chokes the life out of evil Superman, and then Clark, that symbolizes that he has defeated the evil influence, and then he opens up his Clark Kent shirt, and he's got the Superman shirt, and the song kicks in, and he flies off to undo all the wrong.
The iconic scene.
And it was so good. And for me, like as a young kid, I was probably like 5 years old, trying to understand, like, how is Superman fighting himself? He's only one person, and why does the evil one just disappear into nothing after? And it's like, okay, so this wasn't happening on the physical plane, even though it's being represented in such a way. This is happening in his head. This is his internal struggle. And like years later, learning about, when you're in writing, there's always like man versus man, or man versus nature, or man versus himself. And like just learning those concepts was like Superman 3, that was man versus himself. And like, I fancy myself a bit of a writer. nothing professional, but I do a lot of recreational writing. And that's just one of those scenes that left a mark on me. It's not something I talk about all the time because nobody cares. But like, yeah, I was kind of surprised when I mentioned on my Instagram how much this scene meant to me and influenced me. And my brother was like, I don't even remember that happening. And I'm like, what? It was so good. Anyway, so for me, I'm super stoked not only to get Superman, because I did not know that McFarlane was doing a version of the evil Superman. And I think this is so great. And so, yeah, I love it.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So thank you for passing on this.
No problem.
So yeah, that's it for Supermans, I guess.
And finally, I just have one last thing that is actually not a toy.
Okay.
I'm a huge.
Well, let's see what's in box here. What do you got?
I'm a huge RPG fan, role playing game.
Yep.
Final Fantasy is one of my favorite series, and I got this Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster Black Mage LED light. So the Black Mage is my favorite character in all the Final Fantasies, and
never played it.
You don't know what you're missing.
Yeah, RPGs are for nerds.
Look at me. So it's like a chunk of plastic. Didn't come with batteries.
Yeah, so what, you just set it on your nightstand?
Yeah, you just set it on your nightstand. There's a little button on the back. You push the button, it glows. So you'll have the yellow hat, the black face. And I
assume the black face won't glow.
Yeah, the black face won't glow.
Blue cloak.
Yellow eyes, blue cloak, and the yellow hand. So it just lights up and you can hit the button to turn it on and off. And it was super cool. I saw this and it's like, you know what? I'm going to do it. Okay. It's only like 19, I think, American. So
yeah, like 30 Canadian.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely smaller than I would have hoped, but I knew when I bought it, it was like it said 4 inches.
All right,
that is my haul.
Nice, not a bad haul.
Not a bad haul. It's been months.
Yeah. Okay, well that I think that fills this episode. So we can just call this one Chad's new stuff. Although I did get a couple of things in here too. Okay, so we'll wrap this one up. Maybe we'll do another.
Sure.
But why don't you sign us out of here?
All right. So thank you for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, and leave us comments. We enjoy chatting with you. And what did you think of my haul? Is there anything you didn't like? I know Mike didn't really like the Cammy. I'm still kind of on the fence.
I like her.
You like her, but it's kind of overwhelming, underwhelming, I should say.
It's just because we've raved about how good these toys are. Like characters that I didn't think I'd like an M. Bison or a Ken or whatever. I'm liking the figures. So for my favorite character to just not quite make the mark, it's disappointing, but it's still a good figure. I still like it a lot.
Yeah. So that being said, thank you again. Stay tuned for the next episode, and we'll be back.
All right.
Till next time.
Ciao.
Keep collecting.